Giglio?
Yes. Yes.
You're the appellant. You've been to a Board of Equalization prior to this.
No.
The way this process works, every year the assessor by Idaho statute is required to bring properties up uniformly to market value. If they do that, send out the notices. If you disagree with that or make any adjustments with them, you have the right to file to us as an appeal. Board of Commissioners sitting as a Board of Equalization. Maybe we probably, can you see the individual in the assessor's office? Raise your hand. Okay. And then the three commissioners, Christensen and Walker. Then
Your audio is breaking up. I can barely understand you.
I'll talk more back towards this mic. Does that help?
A little bit. Yep.
Pick up for anyway, we'll try to time allotted for this is about 30 minutes. So we'll give you up to 10 minutes to make your case on why you think the assessor has erred. After that, we'll have the assessor run through the documentation of how they arrived at the appraisal, the appraised value. And then the final 10 minutes will be broken up in the questions and deliberation by the committee. So to begin with, we'd like to swear everybody in, including yourself and the two from the appraiser and assessor's office. So you are raised right now. If you solemnly swear.
I solemnly swear.
Tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
To tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Thank you. What happened, Mr. Giglio?
So you'd like me to go through my argument? Is that what I'm hearing right now?
Yeah, along with any comparables you have to make a case. I know one other form of instruction. I know that a lot of people are concerned about property taxes, which we're concerned. We're taxpayers too, but this issue is about finding the market value.
Which is based on, which is what the basis of tax is. So, I mean, we all say that it's not tax related, but it's tax related.
But we're going to focus on the assessed value because that's what the assessor is directed by statute to come up with.
All right. Hopefully I'm sharing here. And so got divorced last year, finalized November 9th, and I am forced to sell the house in order to survive. And dang it. So in the process, I applied for a mortgage and then I walked away from it because they took all of my spending cash away, which I wouldn't have been able to pay federal taxes if I would have done this. But on November 18th, effective date November 18th, there was a housing appraisal by I don't even know how to say that, from Pocatello, and it came in at $415,000. So the appraisal, the tax appraisal value is listed at $468,000. So if you looked at this point here on February 5th or 6th, my house was listed at $425,000 with the hope of being able to find a buyer at the $415,000 value. If my house was truly worth $468,000, the real estate agent would have come in and bought this house at $425,000. And the only offer I have been given is this $395,000, which also includes a $5,000 flooring allowance from us. So in reality, this offer here, which I get it, it's April 4th, and we're talking about January 1st, but $395 is not $468,000 4 months later. And again, $425 is not $468,000 1 month later. So this, to me, I believe this is overpriced based on the market, but this is what I believe the tax value should be coming in at $415,000. And that's all I got.
We didn't get any. Oh, yeah, we'll make this part of the record. But if he goes through and looks through that, I don't know if we want to wait until we have questions about the comments that are used or that. Maybe she can go through these.
So, as far as what I submitted, there's about 9 properties, and what I did is I basically sorted them as similar as I could get them. The year built is within about 5 years of the subject property. Square foot is actually about 100 square feet. All of them fall within that 100 square feet difference. As far as the average dollar per square foot that I have those sales coming in at, they're coming in at 267, and his value is coming in at 254 as far as what he's being assessed at. Did not know what this was doing, so I did not.
So like this, what you show. It's interesting because on comparable number 2, they removed $100,000 quality. And obviously, I'm not going to inform them of what significant subsidies.
So I will say on comparable number 8, that one is at 1,900 square feet for the size, so that's almost 500 square feet bigger than his. On his, yeah, comparable number 8 is a 1,900 square foot home. Yeah. The square feet on the size on the home falls within at least, it's pretty tight, within about 100 square feet.
And even when you look at the sale prices of these homes that with smaller garages are.
I believe so, yeah. Him and I had a discussion, and unfortunately, he knows we are, as of January 1, 2022 sales. at least on. Why do you account for the appraisal?
I really can't understand what's being said. I haven't understood what's being said since I've been done. So if you're asking me a question, you need to be more clear.
Asking the appraiser how he feels about the appraisal that was made on your home at $415,000. Did you hear that?
I understand that was going on, but that's all I can tell.
Yeah, and again, with only the 3 comparables that were. My only concern is that of the 3 listed comparables, one of them they reduced $100,000 if they feel like the quality is not comparable. That was
So
one.
how do you respond to the fact that my house got listed 36 days after the appraisal at 468 at 425,000 and it hasn't sold yet? I mean, if you're going to tear apart this appraisal, it seems to me that you have to answer the question of why didn't my house sell?
Yeah, and we've seen a shift in the market in 2023. Unfortunately, we're not able to use that listing or that sell price if it does sell to determine the value for 2022. It does make sense that it kind of follows the trend we've seen with the asking price being less than what it would have been in 2022. But again, those sales will be utilized in setting the value for 2022.
Yeah, but we're talking 36 days. We're not talking a year. We're talking 1 month.
From the time that you listed it?
From the January 1st that you told me on the phone to the time it was listed in February 6th.
Yeah,
Somehow it dropped from 468,000 to 425, below 425, and that does not seem reasonable.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we're not able to use those listings. We're just utilizing the sales that we received in actual homes that sold in 2022. And we have sales one of them's in December, right at the end of the year.
That's fine. You can pull these comps, but you still can't answer why the house hasn't sold.
I can't answer for why your home hasn't sold.
Because it's not worth 468,000. It's not even worth 425,000.
Right, and I agree that today in July of 2023, it may not be worth 468, but we're tasked with arriving at the value as of January 1st. We're utilizing sales from 2022. Those are the sales the state utilizes to run racial studies on the counties to ensure that they're within compliance.
And if it was truly worth that much money, a real estate agent would have bought it in the beginning of February.
Looking at the not knowing that.
If that was to me, I did not understand it.
I'm looking at the appraisal.
I still can't.
I'm looking at the comparables in your appraisal.
Okay.
Maybe need to get closer to a different mic. This one. I'll go stand up back here. I'm looking at the comparables on your different that they used in your appraisal, and looking at the sales prices. Some of them are fairly close price wise, but I looked at comp number 1. That one did sell for less, 367,000. Comparable number 2 sold for 516,000. Comparable number 3 sold for 415. Comparable number 7 sold for 480. Comparable number 8 sold for 499.
And some of those were not actual sale price. Some of those were actual listing price. I think 7 and 9 were listing price. So they hadn't even sold at that price.
So it doesn't indicate whether it's sold or not, because they usually take comps off the MLS, don't they? I had appraisals done. They'll look at what's actually sold. Comp number 5 is 390,000, but it's 200 square feet smaller. Comp number 6 is 410,000. So that's using the sale prices of your comparables here.
I looked through these comps, like the first two are similar in size, but I don't know where they are. I don't know when they were built. And their sell prices are pretty wide. And one of them, again, they got it at $515 and they removed $100,000. Which I don't know why they would utilize it as a comp if they didn't feel like it was comparable in quality. They deducted $100,000 from the sell price. I guess that I don't understand that. And then the other one is about 1,000 square, about 100 square feet smaller. But again, I don't know when these were built. I don't know where they are, how much the land value is.
When I just take a really quick, add them all together and divide by 8, you're about 440,000. So even your comparables to me do not appear to be that far off from what the assessor assessed your home. And again, you take into account where a year later when market is down. Julian, are you completely comfortable with the quality that you put on it?
Yeah, it's basically it is your typical home. Like I don't have it graded anything higher than that. And that's what all of these are. They're just your standard that time frame built. The condition on all of them is the same. They're all average, typical for their age. Have some wear and tear. Some of them, yeah.
Dustin, you see where we're on.
Again, if we were further off on the dollars per square foot, but we're already a bit lower than that. Don't even think this market, we saw that shit. We saw shit. We saw something. And again, we've got to sell here. Similar home, it's years newer, but it's virtually the same price, sold in December for $80,000.
That's the one on Bryson Lane. Anything else you wish to ask, Mr. Giglio?
I stand by the fact that if my house was worth $468,000 January 1st, someone would have bought it at 425 February 4th or 6th.
That actually brings up a good question. I mean, are we basing it on January 1st or are we taking the sales of the entire year? What are we required to use as an assessment value?
So state statute does require us to value the home as of January 1st. We're tasked with the writing of the market value as of January 1st. The state is utilizing the sales for the full year. In those instances when there has been a significant shift from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, they will time adjust those, and we have accounted for that in our sales analysis. And again, you know, I think that home that sold in December, it doesn't stand out as less or more than these comparables. And I do think we've seen a shift in 2023. I think that for the first half of the year in 2022, we saw significant increases just like we had in previous years. We started seeing asking prices that in July and August were high and slowly came back down to asking. They plateaued, in my opinion, to what they were in June when the interest rates went up. We didn't actually start seeing sell prices come down until the new year. So we are arriving at the value of 2020, January 1st, 2023. But again, I think that's not only in this instance, but in all of our sales analysis through this appeal process, we have discovered that there hasn't been a large variation from June to December. I think this sale on this example is a perfect example of that home that sold in December. It's same year built, virtually the same size, same quality condition as the one that sold in January, and they literally sold for the same price. I mean, January, May, and December, we have 3 homes that are very similar that all sold for the exact same price.
So the other concern I'm concerned is
Yeah, generally about normal.
It'll carry more costs, yeah.
that December. Well,
December, essentially what you could say would be very, very close to the January value. It sold for $480,000 for a home that's a little smaller. It is a few years newer, but it has a garage that's almost half the size. So, you know, $22,000 more than we have.
So there, I tried to pull, like I pulled you. So I have some that started in, like I've got January, 3rd of December and everything in between. Like Dustin was saying, what we were seeing is the difference between the January and December, it wasn't a lot, especially in this case.
Well, my gut's giving me kind of a hard time on this because I think you've got good information, but I sense that his home on January 1st wouldn't have sold for that. So if that's the date that we're tasked to use, I don't have any real proof to base it on. It's just.
I could understand that if all of our sales were in the first half of the year, and we have this thing in the back of our mind where we have an expectation or perception that the market fell off in the second half of the year. And I think that is a common misconception or misperception that the market did fall off last year. I think that's something that we've heard in the media. The problem is that our sales analysis doesn't show that. Our sales analysis shows that the market increased rapidly for the first 6 or 7 months, and then it plateaued. We may have seen a small drop off in the last month or two on the high end. We're talking 700,000, 800,000. Homes like this, they certainly skyrocketed for the first several months, and then they plateaued. if we were just presenting sales that sold in the first half of the year with nothing that sold in the second half of the year, I can absolutely understand that concern. But we have looked at, in this example, there's only one home that sold it. We've seen time and time again in our analysis that those homes in the second half of the year, they really did drop from what they peaked at in the middle of the year. In this instance, I think December sale is a perfect example.
So would you buy my house right now for 468? I mean, you would make a killing if it's correctly priced, if you have it correctly priced. You're telling me it didn't really fall that much at this. So you should be lining up to buy my house to make $40,000. It's not happening.
That would be a conflict. Well.
Right, and those are identical homes as far as square feet goes.
Well, because I can't find anything conclusive, I would move that we support the value from the assessor and allow it to, if the owner chooses, appeal rights. Because I cannot find anything to justify the other number, and I can't use my gut to make my decision, so I have to use the numbers.
So you're saying it's worth 468? Is that what I just heard? You guys should offer me money. It's for sale. Come buy it.
John, that line, talk. Okay, John. Well, I agree with Mr. Reed. I can't point in sales. Market is slow every year. Reduction of prices, sales until this year slow down. Talking about value taxing 2022. Values in 2022. Would fair or right or legal 2023's values to establish the property values for 2022. Fair apples and apples. 2022's values and 2022's assessed tax values need to come from that data, not from 2023. And I expect to see a change in 2023, but in this instance, I have to support the assessor and his assessed value. That motion. And I will agree, since we can't find anything concrete other than that deal. That's what we have to make our decision on. So all in favor? Aye. Okay, we're going to uphold the assessor evaluation. With this, we'll send you out our determinations, and you will have the opportunity to appeal that State Board of Tax Appeals, which assembled here later in the year. And it's a de novo trial. New evidence, new sales, new comparables. Now that you understand the restrictions that under by code, you can bring those in. So we'll get that in the mail to you. Thank you.